Soon as I can.
Is this audio only?
No, it's everything.
Okay. I just when I express it, I need to do. Okay.
Hello, everyone. You are with me, Rachel Brown, for Impact Lives at 525, and we are live and on location at the Unity in Community Resource Fair. And so, as promised, we have a special guest at the South Hill Glow table. We have Terry and Miles Carlson, who are the emergency preparedness coordinators for the Mid Atlantic region. So I'm excited about them talking with you. But first, I want to give, hey, I see you, Jeanette. I see you, Latasha. I want to give a formal introduction. You know, as I like to say, God makes a spiritual connection before I even know the credentials. We have some well qualified presenters today. So let me talk about it. I want to quote them. They say that they have a passion for people to become informed and prepared to respond to any emergency. And we know that that is the love of God that is beaming and blooming out of their hearts. So Miles and Terry Carlson are from suburban Minneapolis, Minnesota, and were married in 1970. They traveled the world with the U.S. Air Force, and in 1984, they settled in Northern Virginia. Their two adult sons and families now live close by. In his military career, Miles planned for and responded to emergencies such as high winds, flooding, oil spills, fires, nuclear accidents, and power outages. His civilian career included responding to destructive hurricanes and mapping flood areas. I told you, qualified. Terry is the Virginia Blue Ridge Shenandoah area president in the Aglow Mid Atlantic region and has served in various Aglow leadership roles for 30 years. They volunteer with Christ in Action. Christ in Action deploys with volunteers, equipment, supplies, and spiritual support for homeowners lacking the resources to recover from natural disasters. Now, Terry and Miles are the Mid Atlantic Emergency Preparedness Coordinators and also serve on the Aglow Emergency Preparedness Force for, for the 13 Aglow regions in the United States. They have added emergency prepared materials to the Mid Atlantic website, which you might want to check that out. And they prepared briefings for interested Aglow meetings. They drove all the way here to South Hill, Virginia to make sure we get the word out. So I want you to welcome them, wave at them, say hi to them in the chat because they are ready. Let me turn this camera around. Here we go. Here we go. All right.
Thank you, Rachel.
There we are.
Thank you for this invitation. We're thrilled to be here.
Not only we're happy to be here, but to disprove any accusation that we have, may actually have caused some of the disasters that we responded to. No, not true. But beyond those qualifications, how do we get our start there? Oh. Well, I want to point out first of all that this is a great time to be talking about preparedness since FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has designated this as National Preparedness Month, and they have a nice little summary of what they're talking about. First of all, Know your risk. Are you at risk for high winds, for flooding, for fires? Those are the three most common disasters that we've got across the United States. So first of all, know what you're preparing for. Second of all, make a plan. As we're fond of saying, we have hope in our salvation, but so far as emergencies are concerned, hope is not a plan. Be the
Ah,
plan, a written plan. Make a family emergency plan. It helps to reduce stress and saves you time and money when it takes time to respond. Build an emergency supply kit. We have some examples of it here, which we'll show to people going by later on. But so you want to know what your risks are, make a plan, get an emergency kit, which includes a go bag, and we have information on what a go bag looks like. And finally, after you've done all you can to prepare for yourself, be prepared to help your community, your neighbors, and so on, because that's what we're about, being prepared to help yourself, your family, and help others. Okay?
Yes, for our Global International Emergency Preparedness, we're being prepared. That is the theme in the Word of God. Where there's no vision, the people perish. That's Proverbs 29:18. She who has no fear of winter for her household, because all of them have warm clothes. And that's a Proverbs
speak
31
up.
wife.
They can't hear you well.
Be prepared in season and out of season. Correct, rebuke, and encourage. 2 Timothy 4:2. We Christians should be living a life of readiness, prepared for any situation, as Miles said, able to share with our families and our neighbors, our church, and all who are in need in the event of a crisis or emergency. The purpose of our regional emergency preparedness is to be informed, be trained, and be ready. God has opened doors to allow and enable us to minister to those in need in this season, and boy, don't we know, season of unrest and uncertainty in our world. We need not fear, for we know that God is in control. We do, however, need to be prepared. And Miles, I'll let you continue.
Uh, to repeat what I said earlier, and it bears repeating, we believe the most likely emergencies you will encounter are hurricanes, tornadoes, high winds, floods. We've had floods all through Virginia, we know, from high rains and following hurricanes, or one of those wonderful nor'easters that blow down
Yeah,
on us in the fall.
yeah.
Power outages are increasingly likely in this area, particularly with the growth of data centers and artificial intelligence. The last estimate I saw, which was last week, was that in the next couple of years, because of the high demand for power, for electrical power, the aging infrastructure, that is, coal and gas plants are being taken offline, the lack of building new plants in time could result in 450 hours per year of power outages. Towards that end, I have a small, modest example over here of what a little solar panel looks like. A tiny, tiny solar system that charges a battery,
Gonna have to
and
yell.
when your power goes out, can 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 power emergency items in your house. For instance, I have a CPAP machine. That little thing will keep it going all night long, and also keep the television on if that's of prime interest to you.
On your telephones.
And power your cell
Cell
phone
phones.
so you can get in contact with other people. And one increasingly likely incident that we've taken and talked about recently is active shooters. Three words to remember if you're in the presence of an active shooter. Run, number one. Run away from the noise, not important. Or if you can't run, hide. Take shelter someplace. If you can't hide successfully, the last thing you want to do is fight. Fight as though your life depends on it, because it's probably done. With anything, any skill you have, any chair you can pick up, any fire extinguisher, any pitchfork, anything you have, in case of an active shooter. Run, hide, or fight. Okay?
Yes, we showed the picture of the go bag. So this is a backpack with supplies for emergencies. Go bag can make all the difference in an emergency. Have basic electronics. Pack an extra phone charger in case you're fortunate enough to have electricity. A portable battery pack in case you don't have. Long-lasting LED flashlight. Pack a small hand crank battery operated AM FM radio with extra batteries. And personal needs. While getting ready for a typical day, list every toiletry that you're going to need. Then buy your travel size versions. Pack your backup eyeglasses as well as first aid kit, baby wipes, multi-purpose tool, knife, can openers, your food that you're going to need. Clothing, pack a few days' worth, including layers that you may need, especially in the winter, plus lightweight rain gear and waterproof boots. Fill a Ziploc tape waterproof bag with your photocopies of birth certificate, driver's license, Social Security, Medicare cards, power of attorney, and your will, marriage, adoption certificates, proof of address, insurance, medical and immunization records, credit cards, of course. Also, food and drink, bottled water is essential, energy bars, any type of small snacks, and cash. In addition, bring enough money for a few days, including small bills that you will need to buy something out of a vending machine. You don't want to start asking equally desperate strangers for change. So these are some of the suggestions for your go bags. And we have them in our car, carry it with us all the time, just to be prepared, to be ready.
One thing, we have a table full of handouts here. Now, I know you watching can't show up and get the handouts. Where did we get them? We got them from a government organization, a government that's here to help you, and it's called ready.gov. So there's a website that you can access, ready.gov for government, and it's got dozens and dozens of handouts, of brochures, of checklists, of advice, of experience gained through the years that's available for you, for your friends, for your family, for your lighthouse, for anyone. But in spite of that, there are common mistakes that people make. Terry, what are some common mistakes we do not prepare?
First mistake is not having enough water or not planning to get water. You'll die in less than a week without clean drinking water. Me, I'd last maybe one day. I really drink a lot of water. And store enough water to have a gallon per person for 3 days each. 6 gallons for a couple. Research online and get a portable water filter. It's called Berkey, Berkey. Filters are very inexpensive. They can handle all your needs from a source of unclean water. Miles, you didn't bring the Berkey filter.
It will filter pond water. It will filter scum off the street to a quality that you can drink it. Water is the most important you need. The rest is, if you have enough foresight to store food, is to recognize that it has a shelf life. So, under the thought, out of sight, out of mind, we've got 3 plastic totes that we store food in, that we store canned food in, that will be safe for a long time. But we know that what the expiration date is on top of the can, we write that down, and every couple of months we go and we take out the stuff that's about to expire, we eat it, and then we put new fresh supplies in. So don't forget what you have if you're really intent on stocking up supplies. Oh yes. An organization we use, and I'm not here to shill for them, to sell their stuff, but there's something called 4, that's the letter 4, Patriots, and they have food supplies that will last 15 years. They have solar panels and generators. They have all sorts of great flashlights that you can crank up, radios that you can use to check on the weather, among other things. And certainly if you live on the coast, you really want to know about the weather, whether big waves are going to come in and take out the house along the North Carolina coast, as they are now. So that's another good source of very reliable, relatively inexpensive supplies and information. Something else, Jerry? Well, I wonder, Rachel, do you have questions?
Yes, that's right.
We're full of information that we can keep throwing out like crazy, but What,
If anybody else has questions.
what is your concern?
If the
Rachel
audience
has
has
no
some
concerns.
questions, no, I have concerns, but I don't have questions. If anybody in the audience has a question, they're certainly welcome to put it in. Um, but it's not too late to get started. I guess that's the question. It's not too late to get started and to get this stuff together, is it?
Well, I'll tell you when it is too late to get started. One of my expressions that I've developed is when the water is rising around your ankles, it's too late to plant.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's what a lot of people get into. Oh, it came up so suddenly. How long have you lived there? How often has the area flooded? And why would you drive your car into moving water? That's something that astounds me. Every time there's a big storm and a flood, someone's getting rescued. Now, if you've got a burning desire to be on the evening national news, drive in the moving water and hope that some poor first responder is going to pull you out of it. Frankly, I don't want to make the news that way.
Right. Right.
Well, we are prepared to spin great tales of preparedness. Oh, I want to know that we have taken what we propose to heart. And we, in fact, do prepare. We prepare for quite a lot of things. And that has enabled us to help our neighbors. During COVID, for instance, we gathered our cul-de-sac of 11 homes together. We stood out in the pavement in the cul-de-sac, 6 feet apart from each other, and said, "So, how's it going, neighbor? How's everyone for toilet paper?" That was a big concern. Our next door neighbor, Sam, had enough toilet paper for the whole cul-de-sac for a month, so that was taken care of. On the other side of us lived Dr. Fran and a nurse, so they could give us the latest updates on what's going on with COVID. People across the street had traveled to disasters before, had real world experience. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know the neighbors who may have a physical problem, who may have a pet that needs to be taken care of, who needs to be picked up if there's a flood coming because they can't or won't or don't drive. Get to know your neighbors. That's what we're about. Helping others.
Stress that enough.
Anything else?
What we have done in responding to the disasters, Rachel mentioned Christ in Action, whose motto is bringing hope to America's families. We typically respond in an area that's underserved by the other popular non-governmental organizations. FEMA, for instance, doesn't go back into the hollers in West Virginia. Christ in Action does. Samaritan's Purse can be there for a long time. They rebuild. But first of all, the houses have to be cleared out, the muck has to be cleared out, the old appliances have to be hauled out, the floor taken up, the drywall taken up, so everything can dry out, and then the rebuilding will take place. So there's a lot of immediate on-the-ground work that can be done by volunteers. We've kind of aged out of the process. It's a little hard for people in their late 70s to do this kind of work, but we know it's right, have done it, and recommend that you check out a local branch of Samaritan's Purse, for instance, or the Red Cross, who always need volunteers, or your local community emergency response people.
Yes.
They need people who are willing to get involved in your community.
Yes. Yes.
Anything else you like us to talk about?
Well, I'm going to turn this around. And yes, we do have an emergency preparedness team here in South Hill, and that information can be shared as well. But I want to leave space, Miles and Terry, because I'm blocking the table. People can't come and talk to you. They, okay, they can't come and talk to you because I'm in the way. So, all right. So, thank you. look, if you're in the area, come by. We'll be here until 7:30. And thank you for coming on the stream, and thank you for watching the replay, because God is doing amazing things right here in our community.